Greetings. Welcome to another broadcast of I Have a Testimony. I'm your host, Brother Willie Muhammad.
God came to us to seek and to save that which was lost. He raised a man from among us.
He, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, laid the foundation. What I'm doing is something that comes from him through me, and the thing that he uses in me to do the work is my faith in him and the word that he taught. To produce men and women who wanted to clean up their life and build an independent nation for the glory of God.
When we say the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is the #1 student of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we are making a statement that can be proven at no limit of time. The minister strives hard to accomplish any and everything his teacher, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, desires. One of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's desires is to see this baby nation, known as the Nation of Islam in America, united with the Islamic world. And one action the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has taken to help achieve this desire is to have us fast with the Islamic world during the month of Ramadan.
Now, he said to me, all right, find a way to unite with the Muslim world. Since the Quran is our book, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad didn't bring us another book. He brought us the Quran. When he argued with the Sunni Muslims, they would have all kind of books on the desk or the table. He came with one book, the Quran. And that is our book. Now the Quran, let's go to it. The Quran tells us when to fast during the month of Ramadan. Then it says, however, when you're sick or you're on a journey, you can fast a like number of days. Are we sick? Have you ever seen anybody on this earth more sick, diseased, ignorant, hateful, envious, and jealous than those that Master Farad Muhammad came to save? No, you're sick. Right. And some of you are sick to death unto this very moment.
Today, dear brothers and sisters, we have with us another example of an action taken by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that plays a role in helping us to unite with the Islamic world. We have with us our national student Imam, Brother Sultan Rahman Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Mubarak, my brother.
Wa alaikum salam. Ramadan Kareem. Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan. Thank you, my brother. And thank you for joining us. And we're going to get right to the interview, my brother. So for many who know of your history in the Nation of Islam, we know that you are one of the great grandsons of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And my opening question to you is, what has been one of your most fondest moments growing up in the Muhammad family?
Oh, wow. Praise be to Allah. Oh, my brother, he put something on the screen there. That is definitely one of them. I had to be about 6. First of all, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. I greet you. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Brother Willie, for having your brother today. It is an honor and a blessing. You know, as a member of the family of Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, it is a truly privilege, a blessing, and of course, a striving and challenge in many cases for such a renowned leader. Beyond that, we see the Honorable Elijah Muhammad as the exalted Christ Messiah, Mahdi. We are blessed and highly favored to be in the time of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, where we as a people are being raised from the dead. So it is a tremendous blessing to be of the lineage and seed of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So as a child, my brother flashed a quick photo there. That was with my grandparents, my grandmother Amina Muhammad and my grandfather Jabir Herbert Muhammad. I was a young man at the side of the ring. I'm not quite sure who was fighting against our beloved champion Muhammad Ali. I was there watching Muhammad Ali taking some pretty heavy blows. I looked it up. I can't recall the exact fighter who was opposing him, but it was some of the hardest blows. And I swear to God, I felt every one of them. But what made the trip so special to me at that time is at a young age. It was the first time I traveled with both of my grandparents together. And with Muhammad Ali, who was around as much as any uncle of mine was around, that it was really like a family trip. And it was my first time actually seeing Muhammad Ali fight live and in a stadium like that. So it was a beautiful blessing and honor to be in such proximity, not only to the family of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad as a great grandchild, but with my grandfather, Herbert Jabir Muhammad, who was in his own right a tremendous helper to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad as a business manager of the Nation of Islam, and of course the manager of Muhammad Ali, three-time heavyweight champion. Praise be to Allah. So that was one of them, no doubt. So I thank Allah for these beautiful gems and history to be part of. Praise be to Allah.
Yes,
thank you, Brother Willie.
We thank you for sharing that, brother. And in preparation for this interview, I came across information as well that how your father was the Nation of Islam's first flight captain, right? And a personal aide to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Were there any stories he may have shared or you may have heard about him serving in those two positions?
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. He was, at a very young age, interested in flying. He was very excellent in mathematics coming up at Muhammad University of Islam, then University of Islam. And he, at an early age of actually 15, the records say 16, but he was actually 15 at the time. And he became the youngest flight pilot in America of our people, youngest black flight pilot in America at that time. And shortly afterward, by the time he was 23 or 24, I believe, he achieved his jet pilot's license. And it was for the very purpose to serve the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. For if we know our history of the Nation of Islam, there was a tremendous drive, jet for Muhammad. So in that drive to purchase a plane, a jet plane, my father would share not only the stories, particularly one comes to mind now of my mother and father, where they were on a trip to visit family in the South, in Georgia. And they were flying. I was in the plane with them. I was too young to remember this, but the plane ran out of gas. The wonderful flight pilot my father was, he was able to land the plane safely, but in a cornfield in the middle of Georgia, the backfields of Georgia in the 1970s, or mid 70s, early 70s. And sure enough, those Caucasians there were dumbfounded to see a young black man of 20 some odd years old of age flying a personal jet of Muhammad. But they did everything they could because they knew that this was an important man, Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad. And they made sure that they were able to get gas and refuel. But it was a tremendous scare for my mother in particular, you could imagine, running out of gas. You know, we as a people, we push it to the edge anyway with our gas tanks in our cars. But my dad, he said, I'm going to push it to the edge, and ended up in the cornfields of Georgia. But by Allah's grace, they landed safely. And praise be to Allah, everyone was safe. I was there. But again, I don't remember it. I probably would be traumatized if I still remembered that. So praise be to Allah. That is part of the history of my beloved father. May Allah be pleased with him.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that story. And even thank you for sharing that historical nugget where you said how your father was the youngest flight captain, not just in the Nation of Islam, but in America, right? So that's powerful,
yes, sir.
Man.
Praise be to Allah. It's a testament.
So,
yes, sir.
Go ahead. It's
a testament to Muhammad University. Like I said, at a young age, he excelled in mathematics. And it's a testament to just the reality that if we are benefited with complete freedom and full, complete freedom, that we can achieve the heights of whatever our hearts desire, whatever our minds are applied to. And we don't have to hold our children back. Just if they show interest, we should find every means and every manner to cultivate that interest at as early an age as possible.
Great point. Great point. In 2012, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan appointed you as the first Imam to the Nation of Islam. Can you share with us how you felt when the minister first approached you with the idea? And then what do you see as the overall significance of this historic appointment?
Well, the reality is our dear minister didn't approach me with it. I just happened to be there for our believers meeting, just dutifully present for the believers meeting. And I remember attentively just listening to our minister deliver his message. So no, your brother didn't receive a memo or have a conversation with the minister before this. I was and still am a Quran and Arabic instructor at Muhammad University of Islam. And that was my function at the time. And I was completely content and just attending a believers meeting. And the minister called my name, Sultan Rahman. And then he jokingly said, "Brother, we have some charges on you." And I was like, whoa, what is this? So he said, front and center. So of course we are military. So we snap up, jump up and run. I was high stepping it to the minister on the dais. And he began to just talk and I'm listening. And he described the function of a minister. Then he described Imam, and I'm listening. He said, an Imam, their function is like a minister. But in addition, they focus on the development and the teaching of the principles and actions of faith. And I'm listening. And he said, I've been giving this some thought and in words. And he stated, he said, dear brother, he said, I would like to invite you to be our resident Imam here at Mosque Mariam. And I'm dumbfounded. I think, I was still picking my jaw off the ground. I just didn't know how to react, to be honest with you. So I can't tell you how many thoughts just rushed through the brain to the point where I almost was just frozen.
Flabbergasted. Wow.
And flabbergasted completely. So then he began to explain more. And he stated in the believers meeting at that time that he felt that in the work I was doing with our students and in the work I was displaying, praise be to Allah, that I could serve as part of that role to build a bridge or to unite with the Muslim community, the Muslim nation. And by the grace of Allah, after fully beginning to understand it, our minister said, well, brother, do you accept? Or because he kept going and I'm just still there dumbfounded, drinking it in. And I said, oh, brother minister, any gift from you is a gift from God. And if I can't figure it out right now, I will be your servant and be guided by you all the way, each step. So I accepted, praise be to Allah. And here we are a few years later, and your brother's growing in the post, inshallah. So I thank Allah for our minister having the insight, foresight, and divine guidance to see fit for your brother to serve as a disciple of his in this effort to continue to unite our community with the broader Muslim world and to develop our school, our learning in those practices of our Islamic faith. Praise be to Allah.
Yes, sir. We're coming up on we'll continue on that note, but we're coming up on our first break. But thank you for what you shared, and we're going to pause for these brief announcements.
Yes, sir.
Be a part of the force that powers truth in journalism. Your support helps us to highlight solutions for a brighter tomorrow. Go to nnvnews.com/donate.
Asiatic Minds. Online education. Helping our children to discover their God-given skills, gifts, talents, and passion that will allow them to see their greatness, as well as the greatness of our people. And upon discovering that greatness, infusing them with the desire to use it for the betterment of themselves, their families, our people, and the world. Call now, 502-219-4848.
This is Sister Sajda Muhammad. We are proud to announce that the Sajda House commemorative Elijah coins are finally here. This priceless heirloom, made from recycled copper from the messenger's home, is now available at sajdahouse.com.
The hashtag Bank Black social media campaign made strides not only in revolutionizing how we bank, but also how we think. The movement inspired thousands of African Americans across the country to transfer or deposit millions of dollars into Black-owned banks. These are banks that will invest in urban communities, employ African Americans, support Black businesses, and inspire Black home ownership. This is a very proud moment for our culture as we are taking small, but significant, steps towards building Black power through Black wealth.
Thank you for tuning in to NNV News. Please share your thoughts with us in the comments section below. Follow us on social media at NNV News, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel, National Network View. This is Clifton Muhammad with nnvnews.com.
Our brother Sultan Muhammad has been working very hard to help us as a believing community to grow in our understanding of Islam and even its practices. He has several online videos that shows his effort, and here's just one example of the work that our brother is doing in our nation.
The Muslim daily prayer service is the center of Islamic life. The Muslim daily prayer, or the Salah, is considered to be the most important pillar of faith in Islam. It is the only pillar of the Islamic faith that has no exemption or excuse for its not being performed, and the one who does not observe it cannot be considered among the Muslims. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad has stated in Message to the Black Man, "We must study the words and the positions taken by the Muslim in his daily prayer. This helps us to understand the true way to worship Allah, God. We, by the grace of Allah, have produced a step-by-step instructional video guide to support those seeking to learn how to perform this Islamic obligation. Praise be to Allah. The upcoming release of this important instructional tool will be available to the public this spring, 2014. This instructional video is designed as a companion to the book."
In 2016, Brother Imam, you were part of a delegation that traveled with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to the country of Iran, if my research is correct. Was there anything that you observed during the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's visit there that stood out to you that you would like to share with the listening and viewing audience now?
Yes, sir. All praise is due to Allah. I was blessed to be with the delegation of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in 2016. That particular journey was the first journey. We also went back in 2018. 2016, we were present there for the Islamic Revolution of Iran's anniversary, which actually just preceded our Savior's Day. And it was a tremendous blessing to see our minister among our Muslim brothers and sisters who venerated him, who love him. It was his return to Iran after, I believe it was 20 years prior, where our minister 20 years prior addressed the Iranian nation from Azadi Square. And this time in 2016, he was also invited there at Azadi Square. And to see the sea of Muslims from Iran that were present was an amazing, amazing reality. And to see the love that our brothers and sisters in the Islamic Republic of Iran have for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan as a champion of freedom, justice, and equality was a time I will never forget. Our dear minister was taken on and we with the delegation, also present with us at that time was our brother Akbar Muhammad, Student Minister Abdul Akbar Muhammad, our national representative, and our international student minister and representative, as well as our brother Dr. Student Minister Wesley Muhammad and others. We were taken on a helicopter tour of the square before the actual events. And by Allah, it was, again, a tremendous thing to see. Later in 2018, our minister was invited back. And I would be remiss if I missed this other major point in 2016. The first meeting there, our minister met with the Grand Ayatollah, Ayatollah Jannati, who is a major figure there in the governance of Iran. And I have to say, to see the beautiful relationship that was built between these two lovers of freedom, justice, and equality, and to see the love that exuded from Ayatollah Jannati. It was stated by those that were part of the cabinet of Ayatollah Jannati that he had never received anyone in such a manner as he had received the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I remember him kissing him on each cheek, kissing him on the shoulder. It was like long lost brothers that were reunited. And he even kissed our dear minister lightly on the lips. He's just a quick peck on the lips. And we here, see that as something odd or strange, but this represented the highest level of love and adoration. And it even went further. Ayatollah Jannati, who the Iranian family, they joke and they say because of his age, that he was present before creation itself. If we look at the history of Iran, it's a horrible history. So there's a very young population due to the consistent war-ridden reality that they're dealing with. However, Ayatollah Jannati walked our minister out to the motorcade and escorted him outside of his office and outside of the building. And they stated that this has never happened before. There's no other leader that has visited Ayatollah Jannati, the Grand Ayatollah of Iran, and saw them completely to their transportation. Praise be to Allah. So that was in 2016. And in 2018, this culminated in actually our minister meeting with the Ayatollah, Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, there in Iran. So this was a historic event, and to see our minister speaking and teaching and receiving and learning with such humility, he demonstrated and represented we, the nation of Islam, Master Fard Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and he was received, and the response of the Supreme Leader of Iran, Ayatollah Khamenei, was warm and welcoming. And for all that we see of the rejection of our minister here in the West, we see the leaders of nations receiving him, loving him. And the Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, gave words after our dear minister delivered the message of our people, the struggle of our people, the reality of Mahdi, the reality of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's work. The Ayatollah Khamenei said to our minister, you continue the work you're doing, continue to raise Muslims in America, and continue to study how we have established this nation, Iran. And we must know that Iran was established through a completely bloodless revolution, through cassette tapes of Ayatollah Khomeini, his predecessor. So there are many correlations between these two nations, the theocracy there in the East under the Islamic Republic of Iran, and the theocracy here under the Nation of Islam in the West. Praise be to Allah.
Wow, and thank you for sharing that witness bearing and what you saw and the level of hospitality that was afforded to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because what you shared also can be used by us to combat those who try to say that we're not Muslim, we're not accepted by aspects of various communities in the Islamic world. So we appreciate that. Time is going by so fast. We're coming up on our next break, and when we come back, there's a question I wanted to ask you, and it's best for me to ask after this break. So thank you, my brother, and we'll be back after these announcements.
Be a part of the force that powers truth in journalism. Go to nnvnews.com/donate.
Worldwide, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download the Final Call Radio app and take us everywhere. On your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also log on to finalcall.com and click the Listen Live button, or finalcallradio.com. Final Call Radio, the official voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
Please share your thoughts with us in the comment section below. Follow us on social media at NNV News, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel at National Network View. I am Anissa Muhammad with nnvnews.com.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is such a beautiful human being. Even when he isn't teaching with his words, he also teaches by example. And Sister Yanazda Halonwolf, who was with us on last week, shared how he does this in this clip.
And then his humility. You know, there's been times where I have been blessed to be in his presence, and as people are wanting to teach him things or share things with him, and he's not an elder that's like, oh, I know it all. He's always willing to be a student and to learn, even in his 80s, is to continue to learn from the younger generation, from all of us. And I think that is true leadership, is that not only are you a leader, but you're also a student. And I am just so blessed to not just be family, but also to be able to work with Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I worked from a lot of the things that I have done. From the Millions More movement was my first major march to work with him on, and to get his guidance and counseling. And
you know, we're back with our student Imam Sultan Muhammad. And I don't know if you remember this. One time at the dinner table in Chicago, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was talking about how the name of Master Farad Muhammad's mother had been phonetically written as Baby G, right?
Yes.
And in the transcripts of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's lecture, that's how it is. And I remember him talking to you, and he called on you about the possibility of that probably also happening with the name of Master Farad Muhammad's father, because we know he's as Alfonso. And I remember him asking you, and I couldn't hear exactly what you were saying about it. Can you share some of the history or the research around that?
Absolutely. You know, there were so many correlations. And if we look at the messages our dear minister delivered directly following his journey there with the delegation that was privileged to be with him, is he recalled driving up Sharif Street and the spellings of the names, and Ali Street. The spellings of the names were as they appear in our literature of the message to the Black man and in our lessons. And he said, oh, I'm at home, you know, and we even found that there were 2 villages called Farrakhan with the name Farrakhan. And there were so many instances in this case, particularly what our brother is pointing to, and I appreciate this coming up again, is because it shows the connection where we see Alfonso, so Alfonso, so Babaji. So what we have in English is transliteration. And transliteration is an about near representation of the name or word. As we see, Muhammad may be spelled in about 15 different ways: M-O-H-M-M-E-D, M-U-H-A-M-M-A-D, M-O-H-M-E-T. I've seen so many ways. And what it is that we found the connection of the Persian reality that we see in Master Farad Muhammad in terms of his background of his mother, Babaji. It's an honorific in Farsi, in Persian, and Alfonso. So I recall one of the folks that were there learning from us and about who we were and so forth asked, you know, well, Alfonso, that sounds like a Italian name or something. And myself and Dr. Wesley, I remember we kind of looked at each other and, you know, kind of, do you have this one or I got it? Which one wants to take it? So my brother yielded. And I said, well, you know, if you look at it, there's El and then there's Fanzu. And El is a proper, it's a definite article, meaning the, and then Fanzu. So I told him, don't rush to quickly place it in Italy, that this transliteration causes much confusion sometimes. Even the word Shabazz is of Persian descent in language. So what we find is that the Savior, Master Father Muhammad, has connected us to the world of Islam, not a Arab Islam, not a Pakistani Islam, not simply a Persian Islam in terms of roots and of our brotherhood and sisterhood around the globe, but we've been connected to a cosmopolitan reality of the world of Islam. Yet in Persia, now known as Iran, we find so many connections to Master Fard Muhammad and his mother, Babaji. And this is a popular honorific name in Azerbaijan. So our minister said, I feel right at home. And he also encouraged our brothers and sisters in Iran to go back to their roots, to look at their Persian roots and see where they may need to reclaim some of what may have been lost or may have been muted to some degree in what we would see as this nation state reality that we're living in at this time. Because at that time, historically, and I'll leave it here, historically, just in this cosmopolitan point, the Muslim Ummah, the nation of Islam, was a group of confederacies, a group of separate nations that maintained their individual identity and had separate territories of rule, but one common bond and one common knowledge and brotherhood that fused these nations together at that time. So praise be to Allah. It was a blessing to see the bridge being built and the roots that we have that connect us to the world of Islam.
Yes, sir. And thank you for sharing that, because that's so so important, even for us in the Nation of Islam, to understand those transliterations, as you were saying. You know, you have a wealth of knowledge about as it relates to Islam, the Quran, the teachings. And this next question, I think about how Prophet Muhammad's wife, peace and blessings be upon him, Aisha, when asked about the character of Prophet Muhammad, she pointed the questioner to the Quran. And it made me think about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. From your perspective, is there any connection between, you know, her statement when they asked about the character of Prophet Muhammad and she pointed to the Quran, and as it relates to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's character as well?
Absolutely. When we see the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan demonstrating the Quran walking, our brother is referring to a very famous hadith narrated by Aisha, a wife of Muhammad, peace be upon him, who described Muhammad of 1400 years ago as the Quran walking. So what does this point to? Is that this book is not simply a book. There's no book that exists that isn't rooted in a man. There's no reality of a book being present without an author. The author of the Quran, of course, is Allah Most High, but the character of the Quran, of Allah, is represented in people, in men, divinely guided men. So Quran walking, what we see today and what we see in the history of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's work are mirrors of the Quran walking, are mirrors of the history of Prophet Muhammad. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan stated in a message that if we don't see clearly Muhammad of 1400 years ago, if we don't study the history of Muhammad of 1400 years ago, we will not see clearly the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And what we see is the joining of tribes, the ability, and my brother is doing a wonderful work interrupting violence on the streets. I'm speaking right now of our dear brother, who is there in New Orleans doing a wonderful work to de-escalate violence and establish conflict resolution, as a student of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So it is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that continues to represent that reality of bringing us together as a people, as a people that at one time found ourselves on the opposite sides of street organizations. And he's bringing us together as divided communities within Islam together, but he's also bringing together our Christian family, our Hebrew family, our nationalist family, uniting the tribes and demonstrating the Quran walking as Muhammad, peace be upon him, did 1400 years ago. So we see the fulfillment of prophecy in the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But we have to be able to look into these histories and look into the work of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and disabuse ourselves of the false narratives that the enemy continues to try to use as stumbling blocks for our growth.
Yes, sir. So we're coming up. We have two minutes before our next break, and I want to get this question in. What do you see as the significance, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's significance to the Islamic world? Quickly before this 2-minute break.
I'm sorry.
Can you hear? What do you see as Minister Farrakhan's significance to the Islamic world? Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, I lost audio.
Oh, you lost audio. I can still hear you. So as our brother is working to get his now we can't hear it. We can't hear you now. You on mute?
Okay, there you go.
I hear you. Good. So we have 2 minutes into this to our break. What do you see as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's significance to the Islamic world in 2 minutes?
Oh, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is a demonstration of Muhammad in modern times. So for the Islamic world to see a bold representation of freedom, justice, and equality in one of our own who has grown up here under the foot of oppression of our open enemies in this government that has generation after generation destroyed our people and are continuing to do so. He speaks truth to power. It is Muhammad, peace be upon him, that said, the greatest jihad is to speak truth to a tyrant. So in the belly of the beast, we see the representation of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan standing up to the ills and the wicked domestic policies, as well as the wicked foreign policies of this nation. And he speaks truth to power unapologetically, whereas many of our brothers and sisters who are rulers of nations in the East cow down to foreign policy, cow down to the military might of this nation. But we have a man who is backed by two that has no fear of this enemy, has no desire to seek curry or favor with those that are destroying our people, destroying the unity of our Islamic nation around the world through nationalism, through sexism. We can see that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has lifted the woman, lifted our women. This is something our brothers and sisters in the East can learn from, the respect for our women. Although it is taught by Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, taught in the Quran, but Muhammad himself stated that it would just be 3 generations after him that would begin to go astray, to no longer be of him. That in the hadith it actually says they would become fat, they would become unable to keep their promises. And we see now that that is the reality, that there is an opulent lifestyle among many of those in the East who are representing for the world their picture of Islam. Yes, but we have to say, brothers and sisters, Islam, every Arab is not a Muslim, and every Muslim is not an Arab. There are only 17% of the Arab nations that make up the Islamic world. Only 17%. But the rest are Asiatic, from Indonesia, from India, from Africa, from all over the planet Earth. And now a new nation here in the West is an example of the beauty of the character of Muhammad, peace be upon him, that is represented in the teachings of the Holy Quran and his Sunnah, his life.
Thank you, my brother. And we're up on, this time is going by so fast, man. We're up on our next break, and we're going to be right back with our guest today, Brother Student Imam Sultan Rahman Muhammad. Thank you all for tuning in.
Be a part of the force that powers truth in journalism. Your support helps to combat false media. Cash App, NNV News.
Greetings from National Network View. This week's Final Call cover story headline memorializes the late, great DMX. Last week, DMX's life was celebrated at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Large crowds gathered to honor the legend. They were there to remember a man who wasn't afraid to express his pain with the world. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan spoke via Zoom to the large audience. He delivered words of comfort, wisdom, and guidance to everyone under the sound of his voice. DMX will live on. This FCM volume number 29 edition features the middle page article is a transcript of what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said at the memorial. To read more, subscribe to finalcalldigital.com and tune in to the all-new Final Call Radio. This is the nnvnews.com Final Call cover report.
He anointed our head with oil till our cup runneth over. He who, Master Farrakhan Muhammad, that is he.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has and is being successful in accomplishing the wishes of his teacher to unite us with the Islamic world, as shown in this clip when he was recognized for his efforts by members of the Islamic world there in Chicago.
Brothers and sisters, on behalf of the Muslim world, we have the Grand Sheikh of Cyprus, the Grand Sheikh Mohammed Subhi Bello, the Grand Sheikh from Egypt and the Vice President of Al-Azhar University, Sheikh Abu Al-Azaim, and the Grand Sheikh of Yemen, Sheikh Abu Ghazala, and our Sheikh from Ghana and Nigeria, Dr. Abdul Razak Tahir, who want to show their admiration, and our Sheikh Yusuf Shibli, who want to show their appreciation for the leadership of our brother, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, by recognizing him as an Imam of the Muslim world.
Wow. So also, Brother Imam, in the Final Call newspaper that covered the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's last visit to Mecca with his delegation, which you are a part of, you said the following, quote, "Although I have been blessed to make this journey before with my father and my family, to now have the enormous favor to walk in the steps of Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and Master Farad Muhammad, with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, these sacred signs of Allah have been unveiled." End of quote. So what do you mean when you say these sacred signs of Allah have been unveiled? And just how was that experience experiencing that trip with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan?
Praise be to Allah. You know, there are really no words to express Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. We can hear you loud and clear.
Excellent. There are no words to express what that experience was. And when I say the unveiling of the sacred signs of Mecca, when we trod the path of Muhammad, peace be upon him, when we trod the path going back to Ibrahim, peace be upon him, and we also think about where we are in this context we're speaking about in Mecca, that we are trotting the path of Master Father Muhammad. We are also trotting the path of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who made his pilgrimage as well. And to be present with our dear minister, actually walking through the rites. Yes, as a young man at 16 years of age, I was blessed to make the Hajj with my father and family. But I have to say that it was a ritualistic thought, and my thinking coming up in a society of Islam that focuses on the history rather than the manifestation of prophecy itself before us, we sometimes get stuck in the rear view mirror. And we're thinking about the past. It was a blessing to be in what I would say was the future perfect tense of the reality of the manifestation of prophecy itself. To be with the black stone. What is representative? What does the black stone represent? What does the Kaaba represent? What does the idea of a son and a father rebuilding the Kaaba from its foundation, raising the Kaaba from its foundation? What does it mean to tread the path of Hajar, the mother of Ismail, between the two mountains, Safa and Marwa? Beloved, it was to see life being breathed into the rites of Islam. And that spirit exuded so deeply that any that were near us, near the delegation, performing their rites of Hajj, the rites of Umrah during the month of Ramadan, they began to be energized themselves. And when I looked over, I would wave. Every time we passed the black stone, we saluted, right? And I would look to my left, and there was the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan smiling back at me. And it was like, oh, I'm saluting my minister. I'm saluting the representative of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I'm saluting the black stone that has been hewed, that has been tried and tested, and that is that unification of who we are. And there was one incident, couple incidents, praise be to Allah, during our time there at the Haram. When I say the spirit would exude to the believers that were practicing the ritual, but they saw the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and I will never forget, and I have witnesses on my brother's side, the Student National Secretary of the Nation of Islam. A brother came up, I believe he was from Morocco, and he said to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, "When I see you, I see Muhammad. When I see you, I see Muhammad," and tears began to come into his eyes. All praise is due to Allah. So the unveiling of the signs and symbols, that's just what they are. They're signs of something to come, something to be. And praise be to Allah, to be present, to watch this unfold, to watch those from around the world recognize the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for who he is, a uniter, a lover of Islam, a lover of freedom, a lover of justice, a lover of his brothers and sisters. For many of those that are in foreign nations that are being oppressed by the foreign policies of Israel, the foreign policies of the United States and the West, see a champion in the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who speaks for the issues of their own nation in a way that many of their own leaders are not speaking to. So praise be to Allah. Our minister is universal. Our minister is one who is universally attractive, not because he only has fine language and beautiful oratory and speech, but he is demonstrating the character of Muhammad, that those who know Muhammad, those who have studied the history of Muhammad and see and are open enough to see the work of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, that they would only honor, love, and respect. And really, and when I say respect and love, they were kissing his hands, kissing his forehead, and any way that they could to show their love. And when they recognized fully who he was among them, we had to kind of speedy up out of there before the crowd became too heavy. So wow. it was a beautiful, beautiful moment. And I'll never forget, and I'll leave it here. Wow. We had just put on our ihram, and I had the beautiful honor to help our dear minister put on the ihram, the two seamless white garments. So I was helping our minister put it on, and the way you wrap it, and he said to myself and those who are present, "Oh, the ihram is so beautiful. It's beautiful on you. But what's more beautiful is what's inside that ihram." So wow. He always takes every moment to let us know the significance of what we're doing, that it is, yes, the purity of the garment that is representative, inshallah, of the purity of the self, the garment of our own character, the garment of our own conduct between brother and sister.
And this is the last question, and brother Imam, and I'm thankful for what you have shared, because I really see these interviews that we're doing, they're really for I feel a greater purpose down the line, and we're able to record our history. So we'll close on this question, because the name of this show is I Have a Testimony. If you were asked to stand before the world and testify about one quality of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that this world should know and experience, what would that one quality be and why?
It seems like it should be an easy question, but our minister is, he's likened unto a diamond. You know, when you put a diamond to light, it refracts many colors and many. So I would say this: he is a perfect balance of character, a perfect balance of courage, a perfect balance of humility, a perfect balance of a student, a teacher. It's the crystallization of the righteous character of a Muslim, the righteous character of a human being that is not only realized that they have the divine reality of being above the beasts and being a human. No, this is a man who has seen God. He sees Allah in everything that is happening, everything that is unfolding. So when we hear the words of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, we hear the words of one who is really refracting many, many aspects of life in a balance. So let us hearken unto his character, hearken unto his history, find out about him. Don't allow anyone to tell you of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. You can do your own research. We never should listen to the unrighteous tell the story of the righteous. We should do an investigation of our own, and we will find each time that you will see a man that is representing the beautiful balance of the character, the 99 attributes of Allah. Praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you, my brother. You were able to give us several of his qualities all in that one response. And we thank you for your time. We thank you for what you're doing for our nation and the greater world of Islam and for our people. And I thank you for your spirit too, my brother. And may Allah continue to bless you, and may you and your family continue to have a blessed Ramadan.
I mean, may Allah bless you and your family, and Ramadan Mubarak. Thank you for having your brother participate. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. And for those who are watching, brothers and sisters, we always say this: we appreciate your viewership, we appreciate your support. Help us build this network, NNV News. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you share the videos, and make sure you encourage others to tune in to our weekly broadcast. Thank you all. Assalamu alaikum.
God came to us to seek and to save that which was lost. He raised a man from among us.
He, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, laid the foundation. What I'm doing is something that comes from him through me, and the thing that he uses in me to do the work is my faith in him and the word that he taught. To produce men and women who wanted to clean up their life and build an independent nation for the glory of God.
Be a part of the force that powers truth in journalism. Your support helps to combat false media. Cash App NNV News.